Hi, we're going to start part two here. They didn't find anything. I did spend time in jail. I did get a phone call from a lawyer. I couldn't even tell you who he was, saying, "Good girls don't talk," and things like that. And, I mean, I think this is something that really upset the lawyers and the judges. They wouldn't spill. They would not speak out as to where I got it from. The bottom line is it's on me. Okay, you guys, I'm doing this. I did this, and I'm at fault. Um, there was a arson thing there, where the dealer, had another place, and it was insured. And I don't know, he had some idea that if it got burnt down, it would collect the insurance money and well as well. So it doesn't really matter what's going on at this point as long as you're keeping me high. That's the truth of it all. That is the truth of it all. As long as you're keeping me high, that's what matters. I remember the girls wanting to come and see me for a visit, and rented a car to go get them, to meet them, right? Because it was where I lived and where their father was, a couple of ferry rides in between. Okay, so it was about a 5 hour stint to do this trip, but that's anyway. On the first ferry, okay, so sometimes I would go all the way over to the second boat, and sometimes he would come to, you know, so we would take turns each taking one ferry. Anyway, this one time I was on the ferry, and I guess I passed out because you're up for days on cocaine. And I woke up to some guy banging on the door, yelling, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" Because I'd locked the door and I fell asleep. The ferry is completely empty. They can't even wake me up. And they're waiting to reload. Now they're behind. Anyway, so of course I'm like, oh my goodness, right? Drive and go on like the wind. So I get them, and we're coming back. And the road is not an easy road. I live in BC. There's a lot of mountains, a lot of ranges, a lot of ocean, a lot of rock bluffs, a lot of windy roads. And a couple of years is gone now. Okay, so the youngest that is 7 is now 9. And we're coming back. Okay, I've been high for 2 years on crack cocaine. Never mind the time before on just the cocaine, but you know, so we got what, a year of cocaine. Now we got a couple of years of crack cocaine, and I'm driving, and they're in the back, and I fell asleep behind the wheel. And I woke up to the okay, but I woke up to that. They didn't have the center line ones; that they only had the edge ones. Okay, well I'm on this side of the road. I'm coming this way. I'm now in about. Now I've left my lane. I'm asleep. I've left my lane. I've crossed over into the passing lane, and now we're on the shoulder over here. And I woke up to the whoop 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 whoop, and I think they might have been sleeping in the back as well. Everybody was asleep, and I just hit the brakes, and this big tree's coming to me, and the car stopped, and it's just a drop off. Like, I mean, I'm talking probably a 300-400 foot drop off to the ocean. And I remember the eldest sitting up going, "Mom, what's going on?" Right? Wanna know my response to her? "Oh, nothing, sweetie. Mommy fell asleep, but we're okay." That is not a normal response. That is not normal anything. And I just pull out and keep driving like nothing happened. Like, okay, so that's pretty traumatic, man. Like, you almost crashed your car with your kids in the back, and you're all like, "Oh, nothing. It's okay. Don't worry." And this wasn't the only time that happened, that I fell asleep behind the wheel with my children. Another time was another person in the car, and I fell asleep, and they yelled, and thank goodness, my guardian angel, I don't know, when I woke, I veered this way because I was this far from the person on the sidewalk, and this was broad daylight. So I'm blessed that way that my addiction didn't allow me to kill anybody aside from my own self. There, I still have some raw moments, and it always involves the others. It's not my own self. Because I think my own self destruction, and that's what it is. That's what addiction is. Any kind of addiction. Doesn't matter what your choice of drug is: hard drugs, soft drugs, alcohol, food, exercise. I don't care what your drug of choice is, okay? They are all self harm. Okay. I mean, to work out 5 days, no, sorry, to work out 7 days a week, 2, 3 times a day, that's a problem. It's an addiction, okay? And it can't be healthy for you. You know, I don't know. I don't know. I think anything in excess is too much. It doesn't matter what it is. And yeah, so I'm raw a little bit still when it involves others. I'm not going to share a lot about what my daughters, their experience, because that's their story. I can only share my experience with them. Like, you know, um, I mean, I didn't know the extent of their run ins with my addiction until 5 years ago. And it was a harsh reality. I'm graced that they're still in my life and that they love me and choose to have me a part of their worlds. And I'm so graced in that way because I sure don't deserve it after everything that they've gone through. And when I got to get back to the addiction. I'm sorry, I'm not done yet. I'm not out of my addiction yet. And you never are. Like, I'll always be a drug addict, I'll always be a crack addict. That'll never change. I'm just not a functioning crack addict. You know what I mean? I'm not in my addiction. I think, I mean, I think now after 27 years, if someone were to drop it in front of me, I'd be like, yeah, can you get the fuck out of my house? Whereas maybe 10 years ago, it might have been, ooh, you can't, I'm freaking out, right? They shouldn't be here, and maybe not have the courage to say, get the fuck out of my house. Um, 20 years ago, I probably would have used, you know. Um, like I said, if it wasn't for my family and the support and love that they showed me, and all the tools I've learned over the years, treatment, how many times I was in treatment for my addictions, 4, 5, and I did, every time I went in, I did it for my parents, I did it for my kids, I did it for, you know, um, I did it for every other reason but my own self. And the last time when I finally did sober up 27 years ago, because I'd been away 4 or 5 times for treatment, and because I had all the tools and I knew all the tools and I knew the programs, NA program and AA and AA, I mean, they pretty much just want the alcoholics to come. They weren't, I mean, you got to realize this was 27 years ago. I don't know what it's like now. I haven't been to a meeting in years. Um, but I remember one time I needed a meeting badly. And I asked my mom if she would, keep an eye on the girls because I needed a meeting badly. And she said, of course. So there was no NA meetings back then, were very elusive. Like they were maybe once a week. and in a dark corner, and it was still really a hush hush kind of thing. Like people don't talk about this, and all I could find was an AA meeting. And so we're sitting there in the meeting, and it's like, okay, everybody introduce yourself. So hi, I'm Kimberly, and I'm an addict. And you don't belong here, is what was said to me. And I was so desperate, and I mean, I didn't really stand up for myself. I mean, I'm more so now than then. But I remember I was starting to get up to leave because I was told I didn't belong there because I'm not an alcoholic. I'm a drug addict. And I stopped and I just looked around the room and I said, "Does it matter what my addiction is? I'm reaching out, guys. Like I need help. If I leave here, I'm gonna go get high. That's not what I want right now." So I don't know. I'm hoping that time sort of help change things a little bit because, like I said, it does not matter what your addiction is. An addict is an addict. Food, drugs, alcohol, exercise, whatever it is your obsessive compulsive behavior is making you do nonstop, it's an addiction. Biting your nails, it's an addiction. So you have no control over it, right? I don't know. I used to bite my nails. I don't know about you, but it'd be like you're all of a sudden you're like, oh my goodness, I bit all my nails. Or I didn't even know they were in my mouth. That's an addiction. Anyhow, when I reached my bottom, when I realized that I didn't truly want to live my life like this anymore, that's when I pulled up my socks, so to speak. I had one more slip after that, and I was in a relationship, and we both have children, and his was with his ex and mine was with mine, and they would come together at times, and his daughter was coming to the house one day after school, and he was at work, and I would be there to meet her, of course, because it's what families do. I'm not exactly sure what happened with that shift, but I ended up going to this dealer's and getting some product, and I locked myself in his bathroom, the dealer's bathroom, and proceeded to just go for it, and I have to be honest here, I was really hoping that was the one. They always talk about that one run, the last run that you might not get, you might not survive that run. Well, I was hoping that was the run. I was looking for an out. And the out was a run from the shame within and the guilt within and all the shit that I allowed to build up over the last 7 years of my full addictions to pile in. The fact that I allowed my children to be taken from me, the fact that, was not a good mother, and the fact that the neglect that happened to them was the pain I caused my parents and the shame that I put my own self through, and all these emotions, they sit here, okay? They're not, I mean, subconsciously we're aware of what we're doing in our when we're in full addiction. So when you sober up, a little bit of it comes forward, but a lot of it is just sitting here festering like the tar sand oil things, and then they just right. Okay, well, the bubbling part, that's what's going on within you, and it just I was hoping that was my last. That was my out. Didn't happen, of course. So now I'm late. This poor kid's waiting on the porch. She's been sitting on the porch. She said 45 minutes. don't know, maybe it was, you know. So now she's mad. She's upset. I left her waiting. Father comes home from work. Yeah, he's mad. And yeah, there's the door. Enough is enough. Okay. Right. Fair enough. Right. I mean, I felt unjustified at the time because, I'm an addict and how dare you, you know. Um, so then I'm out there. I don't know where to go. Right. So I call up my mom. And she basically gave me shit, hung up on me, and I was like, wow, I was not expecting that. So I grabbed a room, a hotel room, and, of course, finished off the rest of what I had. And then in the morning, when I was leaving the hotel that I grabbed, something clicked. Something clicked within me. Like, you gotta stop. You need to stop this. Like, look at you. You spent the night in a scuzzy hotel all alone with your drugs, okay? Your mom hung up on you. Your mom has never treated you that way. They've always been very supportive and loving and caring and trying their best to help you through this. And she's like, enough, I'm done. Don't even call me again. You figure it out. So I'm standing in the lobby of this scuzzed out hotel. I'm checking out and I'm about to leave. And I remember standing in this lobby and this feeling of ick roll through me. And enough. Like, you've got to be done by now, woman. You have to be done by now. Like, how much farther down do you want to go? How alone do you want to be? All these things went through my mind. And so I just went forward from there. I went back to the house. I spoke to the partner, made arrangements to, okay, we're going to separate and go our own ways. And, so now I found my own place and I'm doing all the steps and refusing the handouts at this point. No, I need to do this on my own. I need to do this on my own, because if I allow even the softest little step of a cushion along the way, I'm going to cop out, because it's so much easier to stay high than to deal with the ick that you feel, the sense of I don't belong here. I've never belonged here. I felt that way since the age of 12, maybe younger. Like, I just don't belong on this planet. I don't fit in. I don't belong here. And they're all lies. Okay. Past traumas or whatever allows you to believe the lies. And, now 27 years sober, a lot of self inward looking, I guess, like, why do I do the things I do? Right? Because I mean, yeah, I sobered up, but I married a second time, and it was a hard one. That's all I'm gonna say. It's a hard one, because I never had a voice. I'm just finding my voice this last 5 years. I found my voice, and it's loud and it's strong and it gets angry, and because I realize now, after going through the counseling and the self-helps and the courses and the learning and the reading and the divulging and the deep and the looking and the digging and the picking, and why do I do the things that I do? I've come up with some answers as to why I behaved the way I behaved. And okay, now I know the underlying reason, and I'm not gonna start this Me Too movement. Okay. even though that's the case. I'm not going to do that, okay? Trauma happened to me as a child that nobody knew about, not even myself, really, that I recalled. I buried it, right? Protection is how our minds work. And as things surfaced, you know, when I sobered up in my 30s, right? Started using in my 20s, sobered up in my 30s, and stayed sober to now in my 50s. Okay, so it's a window, 20 to 30, right? It's a window. And I mean, I wasn't in my 2020s, early 20s. It was like maybe not even quite my mid 20s, but you know, within there that I started using cocaine and then crack cocaine. When things started to come to light for me through my, I need to know why I do the things I do and why I feel so like I don't belong or less than or not equal to, or you know, I'm not good enough, I think is the main thing. Not good enough. When I found the underlying cause to the I'm not good enough feeling within my own self and started to work on that and nurture that and really pick that scab off, open that wound up and just let her fester out and bleed and scream and cry and be raw and real and, you know, run around with my bladder under my eyes for like 2 weeks. You know, yes, it's part of the process. And you know what? It's okay. It's okay to be raw. It's okay to open that crap up and just really look at it and clean it all out. Right? Find the little girl underneath and just give her a hug and tell her that you're sorry. You know, I'm so sorry I did not protect you for those years. I am so sorry that I didn't help you get my inner child be safe and secure, because that's the bottom line. That's why we do what we do, is our inner child is crying out for something, hiding from something, needing something. So if your inner child is lost or lonely or sad, you know, embrace that child, find out why, look at why. I don't want to say accept why, but know why, and then just allow yourself to just hug yourself and allow yourself to tell yourself it's okay. Yes, that sucked then, but today it's not going to happen anymore. I promise. I promise to protect you from now on. I promise to nurture you and allow you to grow so that you can be well rounded in helping nurture others. Um, I feel like I've skipped right through the whole thing, but I think now that the base is out, I'll be able to share more in depth little stories along the way, perhaps. Maybe not. Maybe now that it's out and you know, maybe it'll just settle right down. I don't know. I'm not sure. There was a big span of time there where I was in full blown addiction, you know, and I lost my family and my children because of it. Now I'm no longer in my addiction. I still work daily at telling myself I'm worthy. I still work daily at my self love and my self care. I still work daily at trying to just put my best self forward at all times. It's not easy. I mean, there's times where I get in my head again, you know. I don't have the monkey on my back anymore where, you know, you should just go get drunk, you should just go get high, fuck everybody, fuck them all, you know, you don't belong here, you should just check out. I don't have that monkey on my back anymore, but I do have the spiral in the mind. Okay, the self doubt, the self beating, the self tattering, the self hate, and it's not even really a hate. It used to be, and it's not even loathing anymore. It's more of a that, right? You know, you just, it's more that, and when I allow myself to go in my mind, um, I can spiral. I can really spiral. And the last week or so, it's been a big spiral for me. Um, Something was said to me, and I apologized in one of my videos for it, right? I didn't say what it was. I'm still not prepared to. Only that it hit here, what was said to me, and I'm still really raw about it. Maybe I'm overreacting, maybe not. I mean, I don't view myself that way, and perhaps I truly am that way. So I need to evaluate what was said to me, and it could be a new truth for myself, and it's a shitty truth if that's the case. So I have to stop you again. Um, we're at that point where my phone's gonna just disappear this video, and I will not do it again. I don't do retakes, so this is the end of part 2. See you in part 3.